One prompt can rewrite your resume. It can draft a proposal. It can research about your competitor. Really, this is the value of prompt engineering, but most people don't really know how to do this. And there's a 5-step framework I will share here, made by Google, that will help you get the job done quicker. And stay through the end because we'll have a quiz and talk about what makes the last 2 steps really important in order for you to get the best value out of your prompt engineering. The 5-step framework is quite simple. It's really like writing an essay. That's how you should look at it. And let's look at it right now. So on the first level, you have a task, right? It's really like your introduction. And it's about the specific action that you want. So if you're writing an email, you would say that the action is mentioned at the body, and you would then go on to provide the context such that you can create the right set of instructions, right? So in our case, what background does the AI need, right? And if we're talking for a proposal in this case, right, you need to know who your client is. You need to talk about the timeline, and you need to also set a tone such that it composes, let's say, a response in an email or like in a proposal that just matches that professional tone that we want. Now, it's best done when you do provide references. References are examples of prior work where you provide your tone, the sequence, the structure, right? So really, if you have examples that you have and you want to repeat them in an automated fashion using AI, this is where you insert this. Then steps 4 and 5, the evaluation iteration, really go hand in hand. You will have to see the results of this first prompt that you synthesized. Are they adequate? Usually they can be, but it's quite often that in certain cases you will have to do some more work. And this is where you'll actually do some specific outlines where you'll tell the AI what you want it to be changed. And because that may happen over the course of 1 or 2 turns in a conversation with the AI, we call that the iteration step, right? That is something to expect. Ideally, we do, though, this step all in one go. We call this one-shot prompt, and that's what I'll show to you right now. So let's picture this. I'm a project manager, and I have this project called Riverside Commons. And I have some notes that are typical of what I would have on the field. What I need to do, though, is send out an update. And I want this information to be used along with the template that I have that will help generate like the right email structure. So let's go ahead and do that. So we'll use the native sidebar that Google Docs provides to us. You can do it again on Leo AI as I did in the previous video. And I just click here up on the top right, open up a sidebar. I'm gonna go back to my repo and find the project update template under emails. Go back to Gemini, and I'm just gonna paste this over here. So I'm gonna make a small edit here and say, using the information from this document, populate the respective context information and write up the email. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and just press enter, and it's gonna come up with the email in a matter of seconds. And as you can see, here it is. It gives you also a subject line. It says, "Dear team, this email provides such and such," really well formatted. And I can just go ahead and copy here and just paste it, and I'm done. However, we would not be done if we weren't to talk about the evaluation and the iteration of this prompt. In particular, what I do see is that we have a really great structure, right? But one may say that this is a bit too wordy, right? And you want to condense it a bit. Let's say you want to make it less than 100 words, okay? Or 150 words. So you just go ahead and say, please make it less than 100 words. And I'm just gonna hit enter. And in a matter of seconds, Google is gonna come up with this. Now, do take notice that my instruction was really minimal, right? I didn't really give it additional information. I wouldn't call that a good set of instruction. I would say that it's more important for you to take ownership over what needs to be kept. Of course, here Google is showing some exemplary initiatives where it says, let's keep the actions required because they seem to be what's holding the project back, what is worthy of being mentioned. I could say the following. Please make sure the email is less than 100 words, but place a particular focus on the actions required and the items that need to be done next week. Okay, so this was more focused, and this is how you really should be approaching the iteration process. And we'll see over here, did it do a good job? And it did. It says, okay, here's the focus, and here are the next week's items. So this is a great example of evaluating and iterating. It's quiz time. I want you to take the following prompt over here from our emails folder and use it in your case. What is a project that you have that you could write a summary, let's say client follow-up email on, and just send it over? All you do is just copy this over, and you can do this over on ChatGPT as well. It doesn't matter. The point is that you need to learn how to keep the pertinent information and how to actually iterate and do this over and over again. In the next video, we'll be talking about one of the most amazing capabilities of AI these days, which is doing deep research. We'll talk about certain scenarios in which we can do research on our competitors, research on certain products, and this is all going to be done for free for us using the right prompts. Thank you for watching.